Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Chief Executive of the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region and our officiating guests. Distinguished guests, media friends, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I'm Master Chan, your host for today. Today marks the historic launch of the first volume of the first English edition of Hong Kong Chronicles. It is our greatest honor and pleasure to have officials from Hong Kong SAR government, central government officials based in Hong Kong, and also the Hong Kong CI Executive Committee Chairman to officiate the ceremony. So please welcome the Honorable John Lee Ka-Chiu, GBM, SBS, PDSM, PMSM Chief Executive of the Hong Kong SAR. 我们也非常欢迎外交部驻香港特别行政区特派员公署特派员刘光源先生。Mr. Liu Guangyuan, Commissioner of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the People's Republic of China and the Hong Kong SAR. 中央人民政府驻香港特别行政区联络办公室副主任卢欣宁女士。Ms. Lu Xinling, Deputy Director of the Liaison Office of the Central People's Government and the Hong Kong SAR. 中央人民政府驻香港特别行政区维护国家安全公署副署长李江洲先生。Mr. Li Jiangzhou, Deputy Director of the Office for Safeguarding National Security of the Central People's Government of the People's Republic of China and the Hong Kong SAR. Mr. Chen Kwok-Ki, Chief Secretary for Administration of the Hong Kong SAR. And also Mr. Bernard Chartwin Chan, Vice Chairman of our Hong Kong Foundation, Executive Committee Chairman of Hong Kong Chronicles Institute. Today is a truly international event. Among the attendees of the ceremony today are 43 consuls general in Hong Kong, heads of chambers of commerce, offices of the international organizations, as well as local dignitaries and also professional scholars. The English edition of Hong Kong Chronicles is significant, being the first, largest in scale, and most comprehensive local chronicles made in English. The debut volume, Overview and Chronology, provides an overview of Hong Kong history. Before the start of the ceremony, we have prepared a short video highlighting this historical journey. Please enjoy.
Looking down from space, a spot the size of a pearl shines brightly off the South China Sea. This place is not particularly spacious, yet it is open, broad-minded and influential. It is where East meets West, where the new and old come together. Behind a journey of ups and downs, twists and turns, it has a remarkable story of inspiration. Southern Chinese began settling here 7,000 years ago. It officially came under Chinese jurisdiction in 214 BC, when Emperor Qin Shi Huang introduced an administrative system of prefectures and counties in the Lingnan region. For thousands of years, Hong Kong has remained true to the Chinese civilization and developed itself as part of a nation. In 1839, when Imperial Commissioner Lin Zixu ordered the destruction of opium in Hume, Britain waged war on China. In 1841, Britain began her colonial rule of more than 150 years in Hong Kong. A century later, Hong Kong fell on Christmas Eve in 1941 at the start of the Pacific War, after the attack on Pearl Harbor. For 3 years and 8 months, it was Hong Kong's darkest hour. Hong Kong is a place with a fighting spirit. After the Second World War, Hong Kong was in a depressive state. Recovery only began as capital, technology, and human resources moved southward from the mainland. Through perseverance, Hong Kong became an industrialized city. With a thriving economy, it was one of the 4 Asian tigers. Hong Kong is a place of boundless imagination. The Hong Kong International Airport was the world's most advanced upon its inauguration in 1998. It was touted one of the top 10 construction achievements of the 20th century. The Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge achieved many world records when it was opened for traffic in 2018. A cross-border joint venture, it was named one of the 7 wonders of the modern world. The spirit of Hong Kong in achieving breakthroughs has long captured the world's imagination. Hong Kong is a place for endless pursuit of excellence. To date, nearly 50 Hong Kong scientists have been named academicians of the Chinese Academy of Sciences and the Chinese Academy of Engineering. Equally outstanding are the many highly accomplished athletes who have showcased the tenacity of Hong Kong by overcoming barriers and obstacles. Hong Kong is a global gateway to the mainland. The people of Hong Kong are resilient and are closely bonded with the people of the mainland. From the 1911 Xinhai Revolution to the 1997 return of Hong Kong, from the economic reforms to the Olympic Games, from the trade agreements of CEPA to tech initiatives in the Greater Bay Area, Hong Kong has seized every opportunity to be a vanguard in promoting a modernized mainland. In doing so, Hong Kong made a name for itself as an international city.
中央政府完全支持香港长期保持独特地位和优势，巩固国际金融、航运、贸易中心地位，维护自由开放、规范的营商环境，保持普通法制度，拓展畅通便捷的国际联系。
Hong Kong is blessed with a network of well-established global connections, a free and open environment, and unwavering support from the mainland under the framework of one country, 2 systems. It is well positioned to play a significant role in marking a new chapter in Chinese history and realizing the Chinese dream of making a proud nation. Hong Kong Chronicles, preserving 7,000 years of history, telling the stories of Hong Kong.
I trust we all have a better understanding of how diversified and inclusive Hong Kong has been as a cosmopolitan city where East meets West. And this English edition put together 7,000 years of Hong Kong stories in an accurate, objective, and comprehensive way. In the year 2000, Mr. Bernard Chan was one of the key people who first conceived the idea of compiling Hong Kong Chronicles, and now the dream has finally come true. Thanks to the support of the Central and HKSAR governments, and also the leadership of Mr. Tong Chi-hua, Vice Chairman of the CPPCC, Chairman of our Hong Kong Foundation, and also Council Chairman of HKCI. And now, please welcome HKCI Executive Committee Chairman, Mr. Bernard Chan, to the stage to deliver his speech.
The Honorable Chief Executive, Mr. John Lee, Commissioner, Mr. Li Guangyuan, Deputy Director, Ms. Lu Xinning, Deputy Director Li Jiangzhou, Chief Secretary, Mr. K.K. Chan, honored guests, Ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome. Today, we are privileged to enjoy the presence of so many distinguished guests from a broad spectrum of society, from government representatives, consulates, chambers of commerce, community and academic organizations. This is truly a reflection of diversity of Hong Kong social fabric. Thank you for joining us here at the Government House for the historic launch of the first English edition volume of the Hong Kong Chronicles, titled Overview and Chronology. I am very honored to welcome you to Hong Kong Chronicles Institute's launch ceremony. As you may be aware, Hong Kong Chronicles is a comprehensive series of historical records on Hong Kong based on a Chinese traditional form of preserving history known as local chronicles. A monumental project 8 years in the making, the Chinese book series comprises of 68 books published in 54 volumes, with a word count of around 25 million. It chronicles the 7,000 years history of Hong Kong, tracing its development. The English edition of the Hong Kong Chronicles is a groundbreaking translation project that is the largest in scale and most comprehensive in Hong Kong's history. The first English volume, Overview and Chronology, traces the footsteps of the 7,000 years history of Hong Kong, replete with folk tales and cultural stories on local traditions and customary practices. The sweeping history tells the stories of Hong Kong's roots and its political, social, and economic development into the Pearl of the Orient and gateway to China. This remarkable book is the result of meticulous research and scholarship of Professor Elizabeth Sin and more than 370 Hong Kong historians and experts, with valuable contributions from thousands of organizations and individuals. Of course, none of this would have been possible without the visions of Hong Kong's first chief executive, Mr. Tung Chee Hwa, who initiated this truly ambitious project, and without the financial support of our donors and benefactors. So a very big thank you to all the contributors and supporters of this very meaningful and extraordinary project. Hong Kong Chronicles, both the Chinese and the English versions, seeks to recover the collective memories shared by the people of our dynamic city we call home. We sincerely hope that you will enjoy the fascinating stories of Hong Kong with its vibrant culture and unique blend of East and West. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chen. 谢谢陈先生. Please have a seat. 请就坐. Telling the Hong Kong story genuinely, showing the world its many aspects in an unbiased way, is not only a key responsibility shouldered by the English edition of Hong Kong Chronicles, but also a job priority for the new term of the Hong Kong SAR government. Today, we are most delighted to welcome the Chief Executive himself to introduce the robust development of Hong Kong, especially in the presence of the representatives of international organizations here. Please give a big round of applause to welcome Chief Executive Mr. John Lee to give us a keynote speech. 有请行政长官。
Commissioner劉光源, Deputy Director Lu Xinling, Deputy Head Li Jiangzhou, Mr. Bernard Chan, Executive Committee Chairman of the Hong Kong Chronicles Institute, Consul Generals, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It is a great pleasure to welcome you to Government House on this historic occasion, the launch of the first English language volume of the Hong Kong Chronicles. The wonderful story of Hong Kong Chronicles begins with the wise man behind it. It begins, of course, with our Hong Kong Foundation, led by Mr. Tung Chi Hua, the first Chief Executive of the Hong Kong SAR, and Mr. Bernard Chan, Executive Committee Chairman of the Hong Kong Chronicles Institute. The Institute was set up just 3 years ago by our Hong Kong Foundation. Moving with textbook purpose and commitment, the Institute quickly found essential support. That includes generous funding from the Hong Kong Jockey Club, as well as from individual companies and non-profit organizations. The great support comes from a dedicated editorial staff, together with hundreds of scholars, experts, and community leaders. To date, they have researched and written 2 Chinese language volumes of the Hong Kong Chronicles, namely Overview and Chronology, and Hong Kong's participation in national reform and opening up. With the guiding editorial principle of recounting historical facts without interpretation, their goal is to produce a comprehensive, systematic, and objective record of Hong Kong's heritage and history. The English version of Overview and Chronology counts some 360,000 words and nearly 800 pages. It is a direct and faithful translation of the Chinese volume. For that daunting, detailed effort, my thanks go to the Institute's team of in-house translators and editors. They worked under the expert guidance of a high-profile translation committee chaired by historians and the University of Hong Kong's Honorary Professor Elizabeth Sin. They are just getting started, ladies and gentlemen. The Chinese edition of the Hong Kong Chronicles will run to 68 books in 54 bound volumes, each of which is expected to be published and in your hands by 2027. The English edition, also in 54 volumes, will be on bookshelves by 2032. I'm told the full series will contain about 25 million words, taking readers from the beginnings of Hong Kong some 7,000 years ago to the 20th anniversary of the establishment of the Hong Kong SAR in 2017. And now, 5 years later, as we celebrate the 25th anniversary of the SAR's establishment, the publication of this first volume in English is a fresh opportunity to tell the success story of Hong Kong. As put by President Xi Jinping in his important speech delivered on July the 1st, and I quote, proactively integrated himself into the country's overall development and carving out its role in national strategies, Hong Kong has maintained its strengths in its high degree of openness and it aligning with international rules. In doing so, the region has been playing an important role in raising China's opening up to a higher level with wider coverage and scope. The President acknowledged that the favorable conditions and distinctive advantages of Hong Kong's close connection with the world market are cherished by both the people of Hong Kong and the central government. Hong Kong's story is one of national and international connectivity, and our history and culture, as well as our people, institutions, and circumstances, all add vibrant colors to our Hong Kong story. In addition to knowing the story of Hong Kong, reading the Hong Kong Chronicles will also enhance our understanding and appreciation of the nation we are all so proud to be part of. That includes not only the history we share, but the future we can look forward to. That future, ladies and gentlemen, offers wide-ranging opportunities to take part in and to help in our nation's progress and development. That means boosting our traditional strengths as an international financial, shipping, and trading center, and as a regional center for legal and dispute resolution services. It also means developing our prowess in other areas as well. That includes rising as an East-West center for international cultural exchange, an up-and-coming area accorded significance in the National 14th Five-Year Plan. That makes great good sense given our integrated arts and cultural offerings, world-class facilities that just keep on coming, and plus our brand new Global Museum of Contemporary Visual Culture, for example, opened just over 8 months ago. Earlier this month, the Hong Kong Palace Museum came to brilliance live. This latest addition to Hong Kong's cultural landscape is now showcasing more than 900 works of art from the prestigious Palace Museum in Beijing, as well as a number of pieces on loan from the Louvre in Paris. The Louvre's involvement in the opening only underlines Hong Kong's standing as an East-West center for our nation and the world. Our literary tradition offers much as well. You can see and feel that here today. You could also experience this at this year's Hong Kong Book Fair, the 32nd edition. The week-long festival dedicated to literature and the joy of reading ended yesterday. The first 2 Chinese-language volumes of Hong Kong Chronicles were exhibited at the book fair. I'm sure that subsequent editions of the Chronicles in English and Chinese will be featured at this important literary event in the years to come. After all, the history of Hong Kong and of our nation is replete with remarkable stories. As Hong Kong Chronicles will tell us, we lived them, we learned from them, we grew from them. Ultimately, they rewarded us as a community. And I can promise you, ladies and gentlemen, that my team and I will make our best endeavors to tell the world the good stories of Hong Kong. The future of Hong Kong and our nation will bring with it more stories, more challenges. We will learn from them, grow from them, and flourish with them. There will be a lot of exciting stories ahead of us, and I cannot wait to enjoy them with you, since we are, as I put it in my campaign slogan, starting a new chapter for Hong Kong together. My thanks once again to the Hong Kong Chronicles Institute, to each and every one of you involved in bringing your professionalism and your passion to this extraordinary, ambitious project. Today, you have started a new chapter, not only for the Chronicles, but also for Hong Kong. Thank you, and happy reading.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, our Chief Executive, and please have a seat. 非常感谢我们的行政长官，请就座。 The Commissioner's Office of the Foreign Ministry of the PRC in the HKSAR has supported Hong Kong in expanding foreign exchanges and enhancing its international influence and competitiveness. The office has encouraged foreign institutions in Hong Kong to focus on win-win cooperation and play a constructive role in the city's prosperity and development. Today, it is our great pleasure and honor to welcome Commissioner Liu Guangyuan to give us a keynote speech. 我们现在有请刘光源特派员为我们致辞，有请。
Honorable Chief Executive John Lee, Deputy Director Lu Xinling, Deputy Director Li Jiangzhou, Chairman Bernard Chen, Heads of Chambers, Consuls Generals, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, good afternoon. China is a country with thousands of years of continuous civilization. Chronicle is an important carrier of the Chinese history and a unique trial of a Chinese nation. With the strong support of the central government, the SAR government, and sponsors, Hong Kong Chronicles Institute brought together dignitaries, experts, and scholars to jointly compile the Hong Kong Chronicles. The book series are of great historical significance and cultural value because it fills a gap in Chinese chronicles by recording Hong Kong's 7,000-year history with 30 million Chinese characters. The publication of the English edition of the Overview and Chronology, the first book of the series, is a big event to celebrate. The book displays the unique charm of Hong Kong as an East meets West city, where ancient and modern cultures also converge. It will help the international community know better about where Hong Kong came from, what journeys it has traveled, and where it is headed. From the Hong Kong Chronicles, we can see the inseparable bond between Hong Kong and the motherland. In the speech on July 1st, President Xi Jinping said at the beginning that the history of the over 5,000-year civilization of the Chinese nation keeps records of our forefathers tilling the land in southern China. The Overview and Chronology records more than 6,000 major events throughout Hong Kong's history by the year of 2017, showing in details how Hong Kong and the motherland shared the will and wool together for thousands of years. No matter in the 5,000-year history of Chinese civilization or China's modern history following the Opium War, or the centenary history since the founding of the Communist Party of China, Hong Kong has all played its unique role in the country's development. Even during Hong Kong's separation period from the motherland, the kinship between the Hong Kong compatriots and the people in the motherland carried forward. The root of Hong Kong is in the motherland, and its future will be much better with the support of the motherland. From the Hong Kong Chronicles, we can see Hong Kong's notable strengths of having the backing of the motherland while staying connected with the world. During China's reform and opening up, Hong Kong leveraged its role as an important window and bridge linking the Chinese mainland with the world after 1997. Hong Kong has thus made an irreplaceable contribution to the economic miracle of the motherland. The Hong Kong Chronicles hammer home the message again that the best time for Hong Kong's development is when it is closely integrated with the development of the motherland, and that whenever Hong Kong comes under difficulties, the motherland will always come to help without any reservation or hesitation. No matter in the past, at present, or in the future, the strengths and opportunities of Hong Kong always lie in the motherland. President Xi stressed that the central government will firmly support Hong Kong in maintaining its unique status and advantages on a long-term basis, and reaffirmed the commitment of the central government to fully support Hong Kong in 4 different aspects so as to strengthen Hong Kong's development momentum. Today's Hong Kong is in a new stage of moving from the chaos to stability and then to greater prosperity. And today's China is marking on a new journey towards the second centenary goal. Against such a backdrop, Hong Kong, as a key facilitator of China's dual circulation economic paradigm, will surely enjoy a broader stage and a brighter prospect. From the Hong Kong's Chronicles, we can see the central government's firm determination to fully and accurately implement the principle of one country, two systems. The past 25 years have witnessed one country, two systems turning from vision into reality and becoming a globally recognized success. Facts have proved that one country, two systems has a strong vitality and is an effective system to ensure Hong Kong's lasting prosperity and stability and safeguard Hong Kong's compatriots' well-being. At the same time, the policy of one country, two systems, as an initiative that has no precedent to follow, also encountered some obstacles and challenges in practice. Despite some voices talking down the policy, some tricks trying to damage the policy, the central government has always stayed committed to the original intention of one country, two systems, and to its full and accurate implementation, which ensured the policy moving forward in the right direction. President Xi also solemnly declared to the international community that there is no reason to change the one country, two system policy, and it must be upheld for a long run. The statement spreads volumes about the great confidence and rock-solid willpower of the central government in unswervingly implementing one country, two systems. Colleagues from the Chronicles Institute told me that the Hong Kong Chronicles will be updated every 20 years, and I believe that the always up-to-date Chronicles will be a proof, showing that one country, two systems policy proposed, developed, and defended by the Communist Party of China is a good policy. And Hong Kong is on the right path when pursuing common development with the country, and Hong Kong compatriots are capable of running Hong Kong fares well. Ladies and gentlemen, a review of the past points the way to the future. Great nations and great countries can always draw strength from history. The practice of one country, two systems in Hong Kong has left us much valuable experience, which will help the policy to deliver greater success along the right track. All people in Hong Kong, regardless of their nationality, are both stakeholders of Hong Kong's prosperity and stability, and beneficiaries of one country, two systems. I very much hope that all friends here will read the book Overview and Chronology and all the follow-up series of Hong Kong Chronicles, because the books will help you to adopt a panoramic view of Hong Kong's development and help you to have a glimpse of the historical wisdom and underlying rules of one country, two systems, and help you to think more deeply about who is creating a better future for Hong Kong and who is undermining Hong Kong's prosperity and stability. I hope all of you will see beyond the surface and put Hong Kong's development into historical perspective. Recognize the unstoppable trend of Hong Kong's moving to greater prosperity, and not to be misguided by some doomsaying and slandering about one country, two systems. I also hope that you will take the initiative to seize the emerging opportunities from Hong Kong and deepen win-win cooperation with the city and share development benefits together if we all pitch in. What lies ahead for the city and for all of us is certainly a bright future. Thank you all.
Thank you, Commissioner Liu. 非常感谢刘特派员。Please be seated. 请就坐。Now is the time to officiate the launch. The compilation of local chronicles is a mega project in its own right. Community-wide support and participation are crucial to the successful launch of Hong Kong Chronicles. Today, we are pleased to have our honored VIP guests, our major benefactors, office bearers in the Council of HKCI, to take the stage and be our witnesses. May I now invite the following distinguished guests to please come on stage for the launch. 现在我们有请以下嘉宾为我们主持出版仪式。Please welcome Professor Lawrence Lau, Vice Chairman of our Hong Kong Foundation. Professor Lee Chek-fan, Chief Convener of Academic Review Committee. Mrs. Eva Chen Lee Kam-fen, President of our Hong Kong Foundation. Professor Elizabeth Sin-Yuk-yi, Chairman of Translation Committee. Professor Wong Yuk-shan, Chief Convener of Promotion Committee. Mr. Christopher Kwok Kai Kwan, Executive Director of Sun Hung Kai Properties and Convener of Development Committee at HKCI. Mr. Augustus Tan Kin Wing, Director of John Swire and Sons Hong Kong Limited. Mr. Oscar Chow V. Zhang, Non-Executive Director of Chevalier Group. Mr. Kenneth Fok Kai Kong, Vice President of the Fok Ying Tong Group. 中国工商银行主席兼执行董事高敏女士 ，Ms. Gao Min, Chairman and Executive Director of ICBC. 中国移动香港有限公司董事长李峰博士 Dr. Li Feng, Chairman of China Mobile Hong Kong Company Limited. 招商局集团有限公司副总经理邓仁杰先生 Mr. Deng Renjie, Executive Vice President of China Merchants Group Limited. 接下来我们有请中银香港控股有限公司副董事长兼总裁孙玉先生 Mr. Sun Yu, Vice Chairman and Chief Executive BOC Hong Kong Holdings Limited. Mr. Darrell Ng Wing Kong, Deputy Chairman of Sino Group and Chief Convener of Development Committee at HKCI. Ms. Pansy Ho Chiu King, Group Executive Chairman and Managing Director of Shentech Holdings. Mr. Ronnie Chen Chi Chang, Chairman of Hang Lung Group Limited. Mr. Tong Chi Chan, Representative of the Tong Foundation. Mr. Philip Chen Nan Luk, Chairman of the Hong Kong Jockey Club. And may we now please invite our officials and HKCI Executive Committee Chairman on stage. May I invite Mr. Bernard Chen, Vice Chairman of our Hong Kong Foundation, Executive Committee Chairman of Hong Kong Chronicles Institute. Mr. Chen Kwok Ki, Chief Secretary for Administration of the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region. 中央人民政府驻香港特别行政区维护国家安全公署副署长李江洲先生 Mr. Li Jiangzhou, Deputy Director of the Office for Safeguarding National Security of the Central People's Government of the People's Republic of China in the Hong Kong SAR. 中央人民政府驻香港特别行政区联络办公室副主任卢新林女士 Ms. Lu Xinlin, Deputy Director of the Liaison Office of the Central People's Government in the Hong Kong SAR. 外交部驻香港特别行政区特派员公署特派员刘光源先生 Mr. Liu Guangyan, Commissioner of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the PRC in the Hong Kong SAR. Last but not least, may we please invite Mr. John Lee, Chief Executive of the Hong Kong SAR on stage. So now, ladies and gentlemen, our guests on stage are now ready. So please have a group photo. 好，现在有请我们台上的所有的嘉宾看着我们的大会摄影师。好，我们的大会摄影师。Okay, now let's have a look at our media friends. In the front first, and then at the back. 现在也有请我们台上的嘉宾看一下我们后面的传媒朋友。好，现在有请我们的工作人员可以把彩带送上给我们的主礼嘉宾。As we can see, there is a globe in front of the stage. The Earth symbolizes the cradle of human civilization and represents the positioning of Hong Kong as an international city. Okay, now may I invite all our distinguished guests to please raise the ribbon higher for the group photo. 现在有请我们前排的主礼嘉宾，对，可以把彩带就是拿高一点。来拍一张大合照。好，先看一下我们上方的大会摄影师。OK， 好，现在看一下我们的传媒朋友 ，Please have a look at our media friends at the back. On the count of 3, I would like to invite our distinguished guests to please pull the ribbons to the sides. 在我倒数3声之后呢，就有请我们台上的主礼嘉宾把彩带往左右拉，好吗？可以吗？好，我们准备咯。Okay, ready? Together we count from 3, 2, 1. Congratulations! The first volume of the English edition of Hong Kong Chronicles is officially launched. 好，在这个时候我们来多一张合影。So let's have another group photo for such a memorable moment. 今天是非常重要的日子，所以我们拍多几张大合照。好，现在轮到我们后方的传媒朋友。Please have a look at the back. Our media friends at the back. Thank you. Thank you. 谢谢，感谢我们台上所有的嘉宾，谢谢。Once again, thank you all our distinguished guests on stage. And please have a seat first. 好，现在有请我们台上的嘉宾可以先移步回座。今天这个日子非常的重要，所以我们特别会请我们的大会摄影师来到台上，和大家来一张大合影。So now I would like to invite our photographer to please come on stage and get ready for a group photo. « 好，现在让我们看一下，大家准备好了吗？ Okay, ready? Is this a panorama? 好。Smile. I can see your beautiful eyes smiling. 你知道吗？可以看到你们漂亮的眼睛在笑哦。Thank you. 再次感谢我们所有的嘉宾。So today's ceremony has come to an end. And now, please allow the Chief Executive, Mr. Johnny, and also other officiating guests to leave first. 现在再一次感谢我们所有的主礼嘉宾，我们先让我们的主礼嘉宾先离开好吗？然后其他的嘉宾请留步。So may I invite our guests to please remain, and also, please, you can have your time to come on stage and have a photo. 所以在这个时候，我们也邀请我们其他的嘉宾，可以欢迎你们上台，可以来张照片。Once again, thank you all for joining us today. Thank you.